Welcome back, everyone, to the Beyond the Home Study podcast. This is where we have real conversations for foster and adoptive parents. So, Laura Rose, welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's
Welcome
just
back.
us.
Welcome back. Welcome. Do you remember that song?
Uh,
Aw, come on. That
I'm
was
thinking
like
of,
so popular.
I don't know. I need more of it. Then maybe I'd know.
Ugh.
Sing it for me again.
Just don't, it's just my singing.
Sing it for everyone
It's
again.
literally, it's just like, I know, I'm going to pull it up. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, but for real, while I'm pulling this up, because I'm determined to not be alone in this song, we are on part 2 of a
Mhm.
2-part series of going back to school transitions. But this episode, we are really going to try to focus on our kids and what we go through as parents and what they go through as adopted kiddos or foster care kiddos, with, that back to school transition being extra hard. So that is our focus after I find this song.
If you play the song, do we need like copyright stuff on it? We've never played a
I
song
mean,
before.
I'll give them credit or something. I don't know. I'm like, literally, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I don't know who sings it. We're going to see if this is right. Is this it?
Okay, let's see.
Welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, yeah, man, how you
Nope,
doing?
never heard it.
I know
No?
you like
No?
it.
Nope.
Oh, I'm like, damn it over here. All right.
I
It's
like
by-
it.
How do you say it? Maze? M-A-S-E. I don't know. It's
I like
probably
it.
from
I'll
like,
listen to it.
I was looking to see if I could find like when this song came out. When did it come out? It's got to be like 2000s, like early 2000s or something.
It's just called
It's
Welcome
got 3
Back.
million listeners. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
know.
Yeah.
Greg would know. I don't know when that song came out. I remember having that song like on repeat.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Like
funny.
on back when you made your own CDs.
Oh,
I would Did you ever
yeah.
do this? I
Yes.
made my own CD and I would put the same song on there like 4 times.
Why? Just so it would keep
Because I wanted to
playing?
hear it. Because I like would want to hear that song and then I'd want to hear a different song and then I'd want to hear that song again.
But why didn't you just go to the just
Because I
go
wanted to
back?
just be able to hit play. I wanted to be able to just like hit play and like jump on the trampoline and listen to the music and that song come on multiple times.
2005 is when that came out.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's embarrassing. I was like a junior or like a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, it missed me somehow. Just
Well,
went
anyway.
went right over me.
Welcome back, everybody.
It's like the longest intro we've ever done. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
that's good.
I
All
know.
right. Did we already say what we're talking about? Yes. Our kids transition back
Yeah.
to school. Yeah, you did that part. Okay. I love it.
But
Okay.
if you didn't
so-
hear part 1, you should go
Yes.
back and listen to that.
Yep. Definitely.
That's
We
all.
talked, I think there's some things in part 1 that it just flows right into this one. So if we like refer back to things, we'll try not to repeat ourselves too much. So listen to both, I guess, is what all I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's talk about transition, especially for foster and adoptive kids. And yeah, the difficulty of it for our children, and therefore I think the difficulty on us of like, okay, what do we
Yeah.
do? What is best? What do they need? How can I help? All of that.
Yeah, I think first and foremost is like recognizing that like our children experience transitions differently. You know what I mean? Like, sure, everybody has like transitions are hard. Like, that's just kind of like the name of the game for everybody. But like, when you have a child that has experienced trauma, when you have a child that has been in and out of other homes, even if you like have a privately adopted child from birth, like we've talked about this in the past, like they still have, they have trauma, even though it looks different than, other types of trauma. They like transitions just bring about some new feelings. Now, I'm making a blanket statement. Like
Mhm.
you may have a child that doesn't struggle as much, and that's great, you know? But we still have to have a category for like, if you do have a child that's adopted and is struggling more so than your friend's child, like that's not abnormal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's good. I even noticed that I have like a very practical example of this happening today. So we have been traveling and out of town, whatever, different things. Haven't been to church in, I don't know, I think it was 4 weeks. So, as I brought the girls down to the nursery, which they usually thrive in there, like they do great, they love to play with the other kids. There's like 2 or 3 different volunteers who kind of rotate, so like they're familiar with them, all the stuff. So I brought them down there, and like as I'm walking down, I'm thinking they haven't been here in a while. Like I need to have lower expectations today than what I normally have, and I need to tell the volunteers in there, hey, if things get crazy with one or both, just let me know. Like, call me. I'm happy to come and get them. We haven't been here in a few weeks. We're transitioning back into some normal things after traveling. And so I said, one of the things that's helped them recently is just either singing to them or listening to music because even at home, we've had kind of a tough time with just simple transitions of, you know, morning to afternoon and one nap and whatever, all the
Right.
things. And so, when I went to go pick them up, they did great. They lasted like 40 minutes or so. They were doing great. And I went down to go and get them, and the volunteer in there was like, "Well, they didn't fall off the cliff, but they got kinda close and they looked over the cliff, but they didn't fall off the cliff." And I was like, "Alright, thanks." Like, I love the analogy. I think that's great. It's a win in my book that they made it as long as they did. Great. So I think there's some of that where it's like it was a good reminder for me of like lower expectations, give some practical like let the teacher or volunteer or whoever know like, hey, this is what's going on very quickly, briefly, whatever, and see where the chips fall.
Yeah. I mean, there's if you think about it, like there's a lot of anxiety that comes with a big transition, like going back to school. Like, yeah, even if they're going to the same school, like it's a different classroom, it may be a different teacher. Even if it's the same teacher, like it's still they're different. They're a whole
Mm,
year older now. Well, yeah, no, they're like a whole year older. Um,
different kids.
since when they started. Yeah, different
Yep.
other kids. There's a lot of unknowns,
Mhm.
and that can just open and, like, they are a different kid in that season. Like, every year you're going to school, you're putting a different kid in the school because, like, they've grown,
That's
and
good.
so there
Yeah.
are new things there, you know?
Yeah, I think that's
There's
really
just, like, a lot
good.
of yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but it's so imperative that you're talking to your kids at home about how they're adopted or however like whatever state they're in, whether they're in foster care, however you're talking to them about it, but you're being very open and very clear with them. And then you're also informing the other adults that are in their life of the situation and just being like very positive about it, being very open, being very transparent. Um, because I could imagine that some adopted kids are going to have a hard time transitioning into the school year because their parents are not open with them about the fact that they're adopted or open with their teachers about what their specific needs are.
Yeah, I mean, one of our adoptee guests from last week talked about this, like, secrets are a problem, and, I mean, they just are, like yeah, so being open with your kids about, their adoption and what's going on, being open, with them about their needs, like, it also doesn't help to hide your child's needs from themselves, yeah. So, like, telling, like, like, letting them know in a positive light, like you said, like, "Hey," and you could do it in a way that's, like, pointing out obvious things, like, "I've noticed that when, when there's a lot of noise around, you cover your ears, like, can you tell me how you're feeling? Okay, what do we do at home to help with that? oh, we get my headphones. Okay, well, when you go to school, what's your plan for when you go to the cafeteria? Because this year you're going to a bigger school and there are more
Mhm.
kids. Like, what's your plan? Like
Mhm.
you can talk them through things like that and be open and presenting like some problems or some issues that you may see without it being like a demeaning thing. Like, well, you're going to really struggle, you
Yeah,
know?
it's so true. Yeah, and even, like, saying, "Okay, why don't we" like, this has happened to us before, like, "Why don't we put your we'll pack your headphones in your backpack when you go to this new place, and you know that they're there. If you need them, I'll let your teacher know that they're there. If you need them, take them out." But there's something I think even in just like, okay, I have that little piece of home with me. I have that strategy like literally right there in my bag. And even looking around the classroom, like, are there different things? Like, is there a Yodo with headphones or a Tony's with headphones or something like that that could be like, hey, look at that. It's right over there if you ever need it, there you go, like, that could be a great thing. So, yeah, just, like, having that, like, those open, honest conversations, and, I mean, this is, like, something that I have had to deal with in, like, my own mind of, like, I want him to go and make friends, and I want him to, like, tell me all about his friends when he comes ho like, all those different things, and I have to just realize, like, there are going to be plenty of times that he's doing his own thing. Like, I get pictures from preschool, and it's like, there he is in his cozy corner, just hanging out, doing his own thing, and he's, like, so happy, like, loving his life over there,
Oh, yeah.
and I can't be like, "Oh, but I want him to make friends." Like, one day he will have more friends, like, that's fine, and he'll make them in his own way, but as a parent, I can't, like, put my stressors like that on him because it's not fair.
Well, and he may be one of those kids that like only has one friend.
Exactly, which
And
is
like
great.
we can't like hold yeah, we can't hold these like, "Oh, but like you need more." Like, well, no,
Yeah.
you may need more, but he may not.
Yeah. Really, I just wanna meet
Like
their parents, so can you please make some friends? Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like honesty. I think too, like just giving yourself as a parent some grace to know that like as you're preparing for school, like your
Mhm,
kids are picking up on these cues too. Like they see you
mhm.
getting the uniforms and the backpacks and the school supplies. And so if you start seeing some like behavioral changes at home and you haven't even started school yet,
Yeah,
that may be a good indicator of like, hey, there's some underlying like anxiety or fear or something going on that you
yep.
need to be like talking through before it's even started, you know?
Yeah, so let's share some ways of, like, what to talk through, um, like, how to even have those conversations. Like, is it this big, sit down meeting with your 5-year-old to be like, "All right, let's lay out the plan." Or is it, you're on a walk or you're in the car or whatever, just, like, ask like, maybe some good questions that we could be asking our kids as they're getting ready for the transition.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways to do this. I will say, as a parent, you really need to ask yourself, am I doing this for myself or am I doing this for my kid?
Mhm,
Because a lot of times, like, we want to have a conversation so that we can feel better
mhm.
because we want that like relief of like, oh, I figured it out. I know what's going on. We have a solution or we have a plan. Okay, good. But like, that's really about us. And our kids may not be ready to talk about it or they don't like not open to solutions at the moment. And so like you do have to ask yourself that question first because if you try to have a conversation and you're getting signals of shutdown, stop.
Mhm.
Like
Don't keep
just stop.
pushing.
But right, don't keep pushing. You're doing it for you, not for them. Yeah, I mean, and every kid is different. I have one kid who is like super open to talking about things like, "Okay, mommy, I'm ready to talk about it." And like you can just have a full-on conversation, lay everything down. I have another child that will just literally ignore you if you ask
Mhm.
questions that way and not respond, but will give you subtle hints in the way that they play.
Yeah.
You know, things like people in the pretend play will start doing weird things, and you're like and so that's your opportunity to ask, like, "Well, why is that cat killing the other cat?" You're like, you know?
I think maybe we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think it's so funny to me too in whatever conversations we're having, like whether we're talking about adoption or school or family or plans or whatever, it's like the you try to bring it up, and even if the answer to a question is, "I don't know," sometimes they'll come back, like, a couple hours, couple days later, and say something about that thing, and you're like, "Oh, like, you were thinking about it, you just that wasn't the
Uh-huh.
moment, that wasn't the time."
Yeah, and you can even, like, give them a thing, like, you can say, like, if you're noticing and this, like guys, this is for older kids too, and
Mhm.
honestly, a lot of our cold older kids act like they're younger kids and emotionally are younger anyway,
Yeah.
so this is applicable, but, like, you can point something out and be like, "Hey, I've noticed, you've been having a really hard time listening when I've asked you to do this thing, or you've been having a really hard time, speaking to me with some respect. And I'm wondering if there's more going on." And they can say, like, absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about. Total shutdown, avoiding eye contact. That's fine. And you could just say, okay, cool. Like, I respect your decision to not want to talk about this right now. Just so you know, the car ride is a great time to talk to me when and if you're ready. Like, give
Mm,
them an actual like place or time,
mm,
like just so you know, every day after school, I'm gonna be sitting, reading, in my room while you do your homework, and if you ever wanna chat, that's the perfect time.
yeah,
Because that gives them that cue of, like, every time they see you reading, or every time they're in the car with you, their brain kinda gives them that, like, "Hey, just so you know, you could say something." You know what I mean?
yeah. I think that's really good, and it's, like yeah, there's gonna be all kinds of things, like, all kinds of questions that they have, all kind it's not necessarily going to be specific to the transition, but the transition might bring up lots of other questions that they may have,
Mhm.
that you may not even be thinking about right now, and so, opening yourself up to that, and hopefully they'll know that you're always open to having those conversations, but I love the, like, specific like, whenever we're out on a walk or whenever we're in the car, whenever I'm doing this, like,
It's like your
I
office
love it.
hours. Like, "These are my office hours."
I have a feeling that, like, as our kids are, like, moving into their teen years and things and, like, they're staying up later, I feel like the hours of, like, 10 PM to midnight are, like, the crucial, like, "Okay, I'm ready to spill out my whole heart to you." And, like,
Oh, that is already my four-year-old's time.
I don't know
Like
what I'm gonna do with that. I'm hoping that somehow I have, like, newfound energy to, like, have those conversations late at night.
Y you're gonna have, like, emergency Diet Coke or emergency, like, energy drinks. Okay, got that. Hold
Yeah,
that thought.
yeah, just 1 second.
Let's or maybe do, like, the chocolate, like, we drink chocolate milk, like, dark chocolate
Something.
or something, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely gonna need something,
Um,
so, yeah, that's good.
yeah, let's talk a little bit about, like, what you can do to, like, help prep your kids for the
Mhm.
transition or, like, really practical things that you can do because there are some things that we can do to, like, help ease and being honest with our kids and talking to them and providing office hours.
Yeah.
That, those can help, but there are some other ways too. So, Abby, I know you've got one where you guys are doing preschool, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Are you you mentioned actually you mentioned a feelings chart in the previous episode, but maybe you could just like briefly touch on that cuz that was honestly like a really great thing to do to help prep.
Yeah, so Judah will be in a 3-day-a-week program this year. Did 2 last year, so we're, like, slowly creeping up to 5. Um, and, yeah, we've been using this feelings or emotions chart that we have up on the refrigerator now, and I'm trying to model talking about, when I'm feeling a specific emotion and why and, like, what's caused that or what's happening, how all the different things. And Laura brought up the great point of, like, that's a great thing to provide to a teacher as school gets started and say like, "Hey, this is something we're using at home, and if you don't have something like this already in your classroom, this could be a great tool, not only probably not only for my own child, but for other kids in the class too. But it's something that he's familiar with that, if something happens and he's upset, he may go and point to the little face that says mad or angry. Just different things like that where then he's able to kind of we're working on putting the words to what we're feeling to help with communication and all the different things. So, yeah, and then the other thing is like kind of the flip side of it is like calming techniques. So just different things, which obviously not all of these are available like when you're in a classroom, but like getting outside, journaling or coloring, finding a quiet space, getting cozy in your bed, just different things like that, that maybe there's ways to classroomify something like that. But that could be something, especially for a preschool, because it's very, it's all play based and they've got like the playstations and different things. And so they've got like the calming, um, there's got like a little calming corner and different things already in the room. But I'm sure that like even in an elementary or middle or high school, there are ways that teachers can create some of those spaces.
Yeah, there definitely are. I love that you're using the visual and you mentioned like even gesturing. So
Yeah.
that is 100% not just for kids. As adults and teens and all ages, we can get to a point where we can't use words.
Mm,
And like it is very helpful to be able to gesture what we want in those moments. And if you don't wanna do a chart like if you feel like it's too preschool and you've got a preteen or something like that, you can still do a visual, like, bring their, like I don't know what kids use nowadays. We use CD players and MP3 players. I don't know what they use, they have phones,
yeah, their
but you know what
iPhone.
I mean? Like, bring but I don't know, I saw a kid today and I was like, "Do they have an iPod? Like, is that back?" But anyway.
Oh,
It
maybe.
could be. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm,
But, you can, like, bring something like that and then, or bring, gum. And, like,
mm,
when you get home from school or, like, you pick them up from school, instead of a chart, you could just, like, headphones or gum,
mhm.
like, just show them and let them just point.
Yeah.
You know, or like and so one could be like indicating, maybe instead of gum, it could be like I'm trying to like think off the top of my head, but something that would be like more open. So like one
Uh-huh.
being like, I want to shut down and not talk to you.
Yep.
And another being like, I want to talk about my day.
Yeah,
You
maybe
know what
like
I'm saying? Like,
a snack on the table and you're sitting at the table or something like that, where it's like, "I'm here if you wanna come sit. I'm gonna be eating this apple that I cut up,
yeah, like
or you can
we've
go
got
there."
cookies and milk, or yes, exactly. Yeah.
And
And one means like, let's sit and chat. And the other means like, I want to take this and go.
yeah, or they'll be
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna take my cookies to go."
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Like,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I like
cookies and
that.
milk or cookies and headphone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's good.
and you can do that too, like before school. So
Mhm.
another thing I'll say that I think is super important for prepping our kid is remembering too that they've gone from summer where they probably had a lot of physical movement, right?
Mm,
I mean, maybe
yes.
your kids were home playing video games, I don't know, but most kids are going to the pool, they're running around with their friends, they're riding their bikes. And then the majority of our traditionally schooled kids are going to go sit in a classroom and sit still.
Mhm.
And that alone is a very, very hard transition. And
Yes.
so, some things that you can do to help with that are trying to utilize that movement before and after school.
That's good.
You know, so getting a lot of input before they go to school. If they're not early risers, I know a lot of our teens and preteens aren't, and that's totally fine. They can get movement through like chewing gum, or they can get a lot of input at least through like listening to music.
Mhm.
If you could get them to do something like, I think I either someone told me this or I'm like misremembering something about a kid that used to like jump on the trampoline while waiting for the bus. We used to use a pogo stick
Yeah,
as a kid. I used to jump on a pogo stick in my driveway while I was waiting for the bus,
that's so great. Bring pogo sticks
and that was just
back.
like in
That's fun.
I know, they're great.
Yeah,
Or
that's
playing
fun.
basketball, like playing basketball in the driveway while you're waiting for the school bus, and then coming home and, going to the park on the way home or coming home and, like, immediately going outside instead of coming inside to do your homework, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really good, especially for, um, like, for the first even if it's, like, the first couple weeks or the first month or something, like, really being intentional with don't just drop all the movement all at once, like, but maybe you're phasing out of it a little bit or you're, like, figuring things out of what works and what doesn't. I think those are great, though. I like those, we use those stomp rockets a lot, where, like, you put the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like the balloon thing and you put the rocket on it and stomp on it, like, that would be a good idea even just, like, before school, go and shoot a few rockets off because it just gets like, I mean, he fully, like, jumps on it, you can just stomp your foot, but things like that that are just, like, right there, it's sitting there as a again, like a visual cue of go do that before you leave.
Or, like, can you walk your kid to the bus stop instead of
Mhm,
driving them?
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of parents drive their kids to and I get it, like, you're running late, but that could be something that you do that is, like, makes a really big impact, or even
Yep.
riding your bike, like, if that's something that you can, like, ride your
Mhm.
bikes together and then you, like, carry their I don't know how you get their bike home, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Oh,
could figure it out.
go pick it up in the car later.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, like,
Lock it to the
anyway,
stop sign, and then they can ride it back home.
yeah, I'm sure there's something.
There's something.
We had one of those we had one of those carriers behind your bike
Yeah.
for, like, kids to sit in. But the kids are getting too, big to both fit in it, but I can, like, put their little bikes in it.
That's perfect. That's so funny. I love
So
it.
sometimes if we're riding bikes, like, you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, any other, like, practical things, or do you wanna do other are there any other, I guess either one, practical or emotional, prep, or, like, ways that they can get that input, be prepared for success?
I mean, I'm sure there's, like, a million more things.
I
I would need,
know.
like, something specific, but those are the things that, like, really come to mind is, like, talking about it, but still allowing space, you know? Yeah, like, thinking through things in terms of play or, like, your own specific kids, getting sensory input, getting movement. Yeah, I
And
don't know.
we
Those are kind
talked
of the
about
big
this a little.
highlights.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the last episode of, like, you can't change everything in one day and expect the next day to be, like, fully different. It's actually probably not the best to, like, try to do all the like, every single thing all at once, and so, yeah, just even knowing and, like, giving yourself some grace and giving your kids some grace of, like, if you're late the first couple days or, there's some bad attitudes and, like, tough behavior and whatever, like, for those first several days, weeks, however long, like, you're all in transition, like, you're all going through this even in just in different ways, and so knowing that you can refine things, you can change things day to day, um, it might have to happen a couple times for you to realize, like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's a problem," and then figuring out a way to fix it. So
Ooh, we didn't really talk about social things, but I will give you, like, a little tip when it comes to some social situations. So, Abby brought up at the very beginning, we were talking about modeling, like, just, like, modeling behaviors, and, uh one of the things for social situations that I have found is really helpful and effective that I think goes unnoticed by parents is modeling what to do with a kid. So, for instance, and this really can go for any age, instead of telling your kid, like, why don't you go play with that kid over there? Like, look, don't they look nice? Like, just go say hi. You can do it. Just say hello. Instead of just don't even say that at all. If you see your kid hesitating, you walk over to the child and say, "Hi, what's your name? My name's Laura." I do this all the time for my kids.
yeah,
We
that's
go
good.
someplace new, I see another kid, and I immediately walk up to the kid, introduce myself. I start asking them questions. I'll be like, "Oh, how old are you? Ooh, I like your shorts. That's a cool soccer ball. Can I play with your soccer ball?" And then my kids, not only have I modeled something that that what I feel is an appropriate, social interaction, but also I like totally diffused the like tension of
Mhm.
like we're all sitting here but nobody's saying anything. And now I've given my kid an invitation to join in and be like, "Oh, can I play too?" Right?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think about that even with, like seeing the girls as they're growing up and, like, they're, using Judah's toys or, like, they're picking up the toys, but, like, they don't know that, like, this one rolls and this one drives and this one so I'm like, "Okay, I do it," and I'm like, "Here, bud, now you show them and, like, share your toys so that you can show them what they're doing." Like, this stuff can happen, like, even just in your own house, and it's great practice for them to have that in their home, like, in their safe space, and then to be able to take that out to the park or to school or the library, story time starting back up, whatever, like, all the different things that you might be doing. I love that, that's
And
good.
with school, like, you can even, like, in the same way, like, if your kid's coming back and, like, repeatedly telling you, like, "Oh, I haven't made any for new friends," like, then stick around, introduce yourself
Mhm.
to a mom or a kid, invite them over or invite them to, like, a neutral thing, like, "Hey, we're gonna
Mhm.
go hang out at this playground after school if you wanted to join." Like, give them opportunities and then model how that looks with the kid. I think that is the piece that parents often miss is, like, they go to the parent and then they expect the kid to do their part,
Yep.
you know? And it's like, "Well, no, I've done my part with the parent, you do your part with the kid." And it's like, I don't care how old the kid is, making friends is hard.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that, like, the making friends and just, like, the social piece is one of those things I can look at other families and other moms or other kids and think, like, "Why is it so easy for them?" Like, why d like, they're outgoing and they're talking to everybody else and they're doing all this, and we're not doing that over here. Like, why is it so much easier for them? It's like, "Oh, like, there is something, like, fundamentally different, and that's okay." Like, it's okay that your kids are not acting exactly like the other kids on the playground. They might just need a little bit of extra time. They might just need a little bit of extra modeling, whatever it is. And if they're never the extroverted, go start the game of kickball kind of kids, that's also okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Well, anything else? I'm trying to think of things that maybe we didn't cover. I feel like we got social, emotional, practical. I feel like we hit a lot of things. I talked about this in the last episode. We do have there is an episode from season 1 that's all about IEPs and, like, kind of the more formal 504s and, like, the formal things of, like, how to work through some different whether it's the educational needs and skills and things for your
Yeah.
kids. So if you want to jump back to last season, it was around this time, it was the end of July. You're welcome to go there. I'll look and see, I might be able to pull a couple clips too to see if that's helpful.
Yeah, I think that's good, especially, like, as, like, more academic needs, cognitive needs, like, things like that starts to, like, come to life that can be helpful for parents. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, guys, like, Abby, you said this, like, we're doing little bit at a time, like, whatever it is that you're focusing on in helping your child through this transition, you know, pick one thing, tweak it, see how that goes. Take another thing, tweak it, see how it goes. It's just like, you can't do it all. You have to choose little things at a time, and have grace with yourself and your kid because you're both gonna need it.
Yep, definitely. Definitely. That's good.
All right, well, we will close up today's episode, and if anything we have said today has made you laugh, cry, or feel seen, please share this episode with a friend, and we will be back next week with another great episode. See you guys.